Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. So, hey, I've been sent an article a couple of times now because I guess some of y'all think I'm crazy. I'm on record saying that I don't think the forbearance problem is going to be the wave or tsunami that many expect. So, I was sent an article here 3 or 4 times in the last 48 hours titled "The Biggest U.S. Banks Have More Than $150 billion in deferred loans." So I've gone through this article. I've taken out some scary numbers that I want to go through with you and then talk about why I still feel good, or not good, I still feel okay about the residential real estate market. So, first and foremost, who are the big four banks? Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and Citigroup. Those are the four. So again, they have $151.5 billion in deferred loans. Those loans are collectively made up of small business or consumers slash homeowners. So again, $151.5 billion of small business and household debt is in deferral. Bank of America, again, I'm reading you just some variables I took from the article first, and then we'll talk about what I'm thinking. Bank of America gave out 60-day credit card deferrals to anyone that asked. JP Morgan Chase gave out 90-day referrals for all residential mortgages that asked. Wells Fargo has $44.2 billion in consumer-related deferrals, $38.2 billion in commercial loans that have been modified. Bank of America, $7.7 billion in commercial payment deferrals, $28.5 billion in small business loans. And again, the other variable that is important, while there's $151.5 billion in deferred payments, the banks through Q1 and Q2 have set aside $32.4 billion in loan loss reserves. Okay? So what does this mean? What does this mean for residential? First and foremost, let's talk about where it's going to hurt. I think without question, small business loans are going to go to zero. There are many loans, not all of them, but there are many small business loans that will get discharged through a bankruptcy. Many small businesses, we've been hearing them, have had to close up shop. They can't have customers. They're not essential. And you know what? That debt will be discharged through a bankruptcy or some other kind of workout. My guess is the banks collect, I don't know, less than 10 cents on the dollar for many of these small business loans. Then you have credit cards. Again, credit cards in general are not, they're not collateralized. So again, fairly risky debt. Many of these, though, the people will do what they do and continue to make minimum payments, things of that nature. But some of that debt will go away and be wiped out through a workout or discharge of some factor. Again, the banks have $32 billion already, and they're going to have more in Q3, and then they'll have more in Q4. It's not like the end-all be-all is $32 billion of loan loss reserves. Now, where's the big problem? I have said many times, I think the big problem is in commercial loans. Think hotels, retail, restaurants. A lot of those loans are written very conservatively, like 65% LTV. So in normal times, there's a mountain of equity, but that's not enough today. I think many hotels will be sold for 50 cents on the dollar. So let's just do math. You have a $2 million hotel. You get a 60% loan, so $1.2 million bucks. You then have to sell the $2 million hotel for $1 million bucks. the bank's going to take a $200K haircut, assuming they can't collect that from other assets that the seller may or may not have. That $1.2 million hotel loan does not go to zero. That's what's important here, folks. Again, I invested through the last crisis. People talk about $151 billion in bad debt. It doesn't go to zero. It doesn't go to zero. The asset of a hotel, very, very conservatively financed, but unfortunately not conservative enough. So commercial hotel loans will take haircuts, or, this is also important, they will do what they did last time and extend and pretend. If you have a hotel loan and you know if you were going to close on that hotel loan, you were going to take a haircut, you could go to the borrower and say, you know what? We are going to delay payments for a year. Banks have the paper. Banks will do extend and pretend. All of these people out there trying to scare you with all this commercial bad paper have not invested through the last cycle and know how motivated banks are not to write off bad debt. Banks don't want to do that. They will extend and pretend. They will take small haircuts because they were conservatively financed. So you're going to see that in hotel and retail. Yes, there will be some hotels sold for pennies on the dollar and some banks will take haircuts. But it won't be as many as you expect. Multifamily, same deal. There's still value in there. Multifamily, usually before this was at 65, maybe 70% LTV. There's still plenty of equity and plenty of people out there. There's not going to be this wave of multifamily properties coming unless they're empty. If you had bad timing, had bridge debt, were midway through a remodel and you had to close down, that debt's getting expensive. That debt could be sold for pennies on the dollar. However, like before, I believe plenty of banks who remember the pain of 2010 will simply choose to extend and pretend. Look it up. It was a big deal in 2010. They don't even have to extend and pretend very long. Just 12 months gets us through most of this crisis. And then the loan looks solid again because equity is back. And then that brings up single family homes. People are talking about 4 million or 10 million single family homes that are all in forbearance and all going to come flying on the market. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. There will be some cities that are destroyed, that are hit pretty hard. San Francisco, New York, and others like it. But the suburbs, there is such a dearth of supply. Even if supply doubles, there's plenty of equity. Most homeowners have equity. Most homeowners will not be stupid and stay in their homes until they get locked out. If they have $50K in equity and they need to sell because they don't have a job, they'll sell. There will be inventory coming on the market. There will be ability to do subject to. But people keep telling me that the forbearance wave or tsunami is coming, and I think it's going to get to be a trickle. Yeah, there'll be some. Yeah, inventory might double. But dude, I have a 1 month supply in my market. Inventory doubles, it's 2 months. It's 2.5 months. It's just not going to happen. That's my current feeling. It wasn't always my feeling. When the forbearance first came out, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. But they've since changed it. They've since added time. Again, extend and pretend is real. Equity is there. People can sell. It's not 2007, where everything is underwater. Banks in 2007 said, don't talk to me until you're 90 days late. They're not saying that today. They're saying, call me, call me, call me, call me. It's a very different landscape. So at the end of the day, thank you for all these articles that are meant to scare me. They don't scare me. They make me feel pretty good because, again, loan loss reserves are there. Bad debt doesn't usually go to zero. On the residential side, demand is just kicking the tail out of supply. So that's what I got for you today. Have a wonderful day. This is my last video of Saturday. We'll do some more tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.